My name is John Schoenig. I help direct the program for educational access here at the University of Notre Dame's Institute for Educational Initiatives. What we want to do here is actually to just film a conversation that this young man and I have been having for quite a long time. This is Derrell Bradford. Derrell is the president of 50 CAN. So here's how I want to do this with you. So I'll give you 3 questions. The 3 dots will be kind of policy questions. And then the dash is just something a little light, like something personal, like just kind of your hot take.
Cool.
Good? Okay. First dot. Think back to when you first got started in the ed reform movement, which was probably right around the same time that I think I got started in it. So think about the topics that were dominating the conversation in ed reform. We should probably level set. So around when are we talking about? What year?
2000, 2002, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
So think about the topics that are dominating the ed reform conversation then. And then think about the topics that are dominating the conversation now. My question is, what shifted or what has shifted over time? And is that a shift for the better?
The topics were the topics of technocracy, because the orientation was one toward improving the way large bureaucratic systems run. And so from the kind of top down, we're thinking about things like measurement, systems of performance management, teacher evaluation, that kind of stuff. So measurement is sort of at the center. Expertise is prioritized. And we're giving families, I would say, like a little bit of choice, because in a lot of respects, charter schools are still relatively new. Now I think that entire thing has been inverted, where the discussion in basically half of America, and with constituents in blue states, if not electeds in blue states, is like, I trust myself, like I bet on me. Why don't you give me the resources I need to find what I want? And then how we define excellence will be some, honestly, more complicated concoction that is part how I feel about it and something else.
Okay, so over the course of the last 20 years or so, again, we can go back to the beginning of your time in the ed reform movement. What's the single most important reform measure that's been put into place? However you want to define important.
Disaggregated assessment data. How low-income kids of color, low-income kids, period, were doing.
I did not think you were going to say that.
And it's hard to say it, actually.
Yeah.
That their performance was homogenized away in, like big test score averages was a travesty. And when we got to the place that data was released, and you could see that even within a school that looked like it was doing well, I'll never forget Connecticut. The then Commissioner of Education famously said of the black-white achievement gap there, well, the gap is so big because the white kids are doing so well. Right? So however you feel about the role of assessment, it changed the conversation drastically, right? In a way that drove policy.
I don't think I've ever heard you say this. This is really interesting. Okay, so third dot. The one that brings us probably most regularly into contact, at least recently, in recent years, has been the Reform Leaders Summit. So just by way of kind of level setting here, the Reform Leaders Summit is kind of our leadership formation exercise specifically for emerging policy leaders, be they kind of on the implementation side, like school leaders, sector leaders, superintendents, et cetera, or policymakers, advocates, et cetera. And you serve as a facilitator in the Reform Leaders Summit. You've been doing this as long as anybody. Why should someone apply to do this? It's a year-long fellowship, and folks have to commit to come together for our 3 gatherings over the course of the year. Why should someone do this?
There's an adage about politics that says you can't beat somebody with nobody. And there's another good one. This is politics is about addition. And for me, the Reform Leaders Summit is a place where I go to add ideas, allies, practitioners to my coalition, and where I think we people who care about the movement macro are trying to find folks who are going to carry the next phase of the work off into the future.
So those are the 3 dots. Here's the dash. What one musical artist, living or dead, doesn't get nearly the credit you think that they deserve?
Herbie Hancock. I don't care what anybody says. Like, Herbie Hancock can have his face on billboards everywhere, and he still would not get enough credit. Maiden Voyage on the Best of Herbie Hancock. You can find it other places. One of the greatest jazz tunes ever done. If you ever look it up on Facebook, you can see him doing it live at like some Mount Fuji Jazz Fest. The sheer level of genius is still
And his stuff
astounding.
gets sampled all
All the
over
time.
the place
All
in
the
hip hop.
time.
Yeah.